If you're a regular viewer of this channel, the chances are you're someone who has or is considering making some big changes to the way they travel, switching out a petrol or a diesel vehicle for a lower or zero emission one. And if you'll excuse the sweeping generalizations, it's probably because you've realized that owning such a vehicle will save you money in the long term, give you a more relaxed, enjoyable driving experience, and help curb the dramatic rise in carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases that are entering the atmosphere because of us humans. If your goal includes reducing CO2, then you're also likely going to want to know about anything that goes against that, be it caused by industry, politics, or natural disaster. So today I'm going to focus on something that is incredibly important, but not necessarily transportation-based: the mind-numbingly large amount of the Amazon that's currently on fire. And to do so, it might get uncomfortable for some people. Because right now, at the time of filming this, the city of Sao Paulo in Brazil is almost in complete darkness during the middle of the day. Satellite imagery from NASA shows smoke covering thousands of square kilometers of South America, and incomprehensible swathes of the Amazon rainforest, home to 10% of the world's species of flora and fauna, the world's largest air filter, and source of 20% of the world's oxygen, is on fire. And we, all of us, need to do something to fix it. Look, I get it. There are people who watch this channel who question human-caused global warming. I'm not going to get into arguing the point here. That would waste valuable time. But the fact remains that if we do nothing and climate skeptics are wrong, life gets bad. If we act and climate skeptics are right, then, well, we're no worse off, and we've got some pretty cool ways to lead a less impactful existence. According to the National Institute for Space Research, there have been 39,194 fires detected in the Amazon rainforest this year. There are 83% more fires so far this year there than there were last. And at the time of writing and filming this, there are no signs that things are getting better. Look, I'm assuming you all remember your high school biology classes, but for those who need a refresher, trees use photosynthesis to take carbon dioxide from the air and remove the carbon, using that carbon to spur their own growth, and then releasing the oxygen back to the atmosphere. The carbon which was once in the air now becomes part of the tree. When you burn that tree, either in a forest fire or in hundreds of thousands of years as coal, you release the carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere when oxygen in the air combines with the carbon during the combustion process. While the Amazon is usually thought of as a wet, humid place, and it is most of the time, July and August are its driest months, meaning that the potential for fires does increase during that period. Fire risks tend to remain high through September, when the risk peaks, before falling back to normal by November. But these fires, at least the majority of them, aren't like the wildfires we see in other parts of the world, where careless camping fires or sparks from vehicles ignite dry brush. These are fires being set by humans on purpose. Why are humans setting fire to the Amazon rainforest? Simple: farmland. But not for growing things so much as for grazing, beef. While the Amazon rainforest is sometimes used for crops, the soil quality isn't so good for crops, and so farmers instead turn to ranching. Even though grass doesn't grow all that well there, there's enough for beef, and farmers are willing to import whatever food they need for their cows anyway. They want the land, not the grass. Global beef demand is on the rise, and that means farmers are tearing up the Amazon to expand beef production. The Amazonian rainforest is thick with life, some of it deadly, and so it's easier to set fire to the forest to clear it than it is to just log it. At one point, this practice was actively discouraged by the Brazilian government, which had worked for many years to protect the rainforest, prosecuting farmers and loggers who illegally cleared land and set up programs to support sustainable forestry. But on January 1st this year, Jair Bolsonaro became president of Brazil. An ardent climate change denier and retired military official, Bolsonaro catapulted Brazil's politics to the far right. His election campaign made no secret about his support of torture and eradicating the rights of people of colour, women and LGBT people. Amazon deforestation was also part of that ticket that got him elected. Since inauguration, he's pushed back the progress made on protecting the Amazon rainforest, and he's deregulated environmental protections. Prosecutions against people illegally clearing and logging the Amazon rainforest have fallen. And if that sounds familiar to what's going on in the US right now, you'd be right. It is. Initially, Bolsonaro suggested that the Amazon fires currently raging were set by NGOs furious that his government had removed funding for programs designed to protect the Amazon rainforest. At the time of recording this, though, no evidence has been given to back up his claim. What's more likely, illegal, and in some cases government-encouraged, burning of the Amazon rainforest has taken place. At the G7 summit this weekend, Bolsonaro came under extreme pressure from other world leaders to act and has committed to sending the military in to put out the fires. But even now, his effort appears half-assed. Although half-assed is better than nothing. Why should we worry about all of this? Well, aside from the obvious, remember, the Amazon takes more carbon dioxide and turns it into oxygen than any other living or mechanical process on the planet. And all that carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere by burning the rainforest will only accelerate the effects of global warming. In addition, these fires are threatening indigenous peoples who have lived in and coexisted with the rainforest for generations. These fires not only threaten their way of life, but their culture, their homes, and their future. It's bad. Really bad. If you're hiding in a dark place, rocking back and forth right now, I wouldn't blame you. But honestly, it's not going to fix the problem. So here's what you need to do to make a difference. First, write to your elected officials. Make sure they know how to act and that you want them to act. Put pressure on your government to get involved in the efforts to put out the fires. And make sure they also put pressure on Brazil's government to make more efforts to protect the Amazonian rainforest. It may not be in your country, but it's on your planet. Second, don't buy beef from Brazil. Consider going vegetarian or vegan because that will help your overall carbon footprint and your health. But if you really have to have beef, then just make sure you don't buy it from Brazil. With more meat substitutes than ever before, there really isn't an excuse to eat meat, but it's up to you. Third, get smart about your wood. Don't buy wood that comes from the Amazon rainforest. Sadly, while there are programs in place to try and track the source of much of the wood that comes from the Amazon region, many illegal loggers use forged permits or forged paperwork when exporting their wood. And that makes it really hard to figure out which wood is sustainably sourced and which isn't, even if everybody says it is. To that end, it's easier and safer to just not buy wood or wood products from the Amazon region. This includes a lot of hardwoods like mahogany, Brazilian cherry, and Brazilian walnut. Instead, try to buy more wood and wood products made from wood that comes from certified, sustainable forests. While logging isn't the direct cause of this current fire, being smart about your wood will help a bunch. That means getting your wood from non-old growth logging and ensuring that it's certified by the Forest Stewardship Council. If you can't account for where the wood comes from, don't buy it. The Rainforest Alliance is another good place to go to check the wood you're buying from is from a safe source. Fourth, try to reduce your paper and wood consumption. Recycle and do your bit to slow down the consumption of wood in the first place. Finally, sign up to donate to one of the various charities charged with supporting and protecting the rainforest. I'll leave some links in the show notes to help you make a donation that works for you. That's it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.